pretty trippy looking wall, I think. There's a bunch of plywood and pine guitars.
Pine.
Yeah, or Douglas fir.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know why
not a
I
bunch.
think that. Yeah. Just because that's what you make 2x4s out of, right?
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Well, now you've done it.
Now I've done it. Okay. My computer time is all wrong, but I think we've got a moment. Maybe we're ready.
I got 5.
Okay.
You
Hey guys.
5.
Hey everybody. What's going on? It's Matt from
And
Texas
Chris,
Toast Guitars.
Also from Texas Toast Guitars.
Imagine
that.
Did Ike do a video today?
I don't know.
I know you were busy and I was busy in the other room, and Ike took Ike took this week off, I think. So not 100% sure if Ike did one today, but I can guarantee you that Dylan is going to be doing his tonight. I have no idea what he's going to be talking about specifically, but maybe we'll inspire him to talk about some things. And a lot of you guys are here already. Thanks for joining us. Eric and Dan and Dave and Terry and Pat and Jay and Bob and Doug, and you guys get the rest. There's a lot of people here. I know that Paul is here. Butch is here. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started, Chris, because we have a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, all of Doug's guitars that are hanging up. There's some of them.
Yep. Not all his.
Yeah. I mean, they are and they aren't.
Well,
I have been working on, because it's the new year, I'm behind. I started working on the workshop schedules for 2025. A lot of people have already signed up.
Mm-hmm. And we've sold a bunch of classes in the last week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But one of the things that I discovered was, let me just tell you how I did it, and then I'll tell you what happened. So we have the workshops up on the website. Mm-hmm. And if you want to pay for like the whole thing at once, mm-hmm. There has to be however many spots there are. There has to be 6 in inventory of that. Uh-huh. Well, if you want to pay like $100 down and then I'll send you an invoice, I have to have half a dozen of those.
Okay.
So you can already see that there's 12 things that could potentially get sold when there's only 6 that are actually really there.
Right.
Further into that end, if someone calls and says, hey, sign me up for that class, and I just send them an invoice and then I forget to go in and take one off, that could be, well, then I could just forget.
So now we're up to 13.
There could easily be,
27 people in class.
Yeah. And as it turned out, there were 8 or 9 people that had signed up for the May Ultimate SG workshop. One of them was Dastardly Dave, who sent us a super chat and said, ad free is for me, and Brian made him do it. God bless you, Dave. So I had to call everybody and say, hey, guys, I felt like I was working for the airline or something. I overbooked.
We've upgraded you.
Yeah, that's
to the second class.
So one of the things we had to do was we had to, 1, add a second class.
And figure that out.
2, because I actually have a week that is blacked out right around there.
Yeah. And there's only 4 of those in a month.
That's right.
Weeks.
Yeah.
So we had to figure out, when to do it,
mm-hmm.
how to do it. One of the guys that was the number 9 to sign up, the one that actually made you go, oh, I think there's too many sold, couldn't do it in a certain time. He's like, well, I can do another one.
Yeah.
So some shuffling.
So I ended up calling everybody who was in one of those classes or sending emails, and we finally got it worked out. But long story, slightly shorter.
Out of 8 guys, we also had two groups that were buddies.
2. Yeah,
of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we split both of them up.
No, we didn't. Nathan Paul is coming with someone. John and Steve are coming out together. And so, and like I talked to Dave, and I'm like, hey, Dave, is there any way you can fidget some of this around? He's like, no, I already paid for all my stuff. And I'm like, oh, no. He didn't say that, but it was inferred.
That's what he meant.
Yeah.
I could hear it in the
Yeah.
tone of his voice, even though I couldn't hear him.
No, he didn't say that. But so we finally got it all sorted out, which was harder than I thought. And
it actually worked out pretty well.
The good news is everybody's got a spot. So
Mhm.
if you are Dave, Nathan, and Nathan's plus one, or Captain Morgan,
Mhm.
you're in the May 5th workshop, the one that starts on May 5th. If you are Mark, Steve, Mike, or the other and the rest,
Mark Arena,
Mhm. Steve,
Did you say him? Okay.
Mike,
Oh,
and the professor, and you are in the 12th through the 16th workshop, which is I'm sorry, my brain is not firing on every cylinder right now.
So you know what this means? There's still time to overbook both of those classes.
There's still time. That's right. Actually, no, because I think those shows sold out. However, now I can't decide, Chris. What do you think? Should we just go? No, you know what? 8 is enough over 2 weeks.
I thought there were 9.
I thought there were 2, but
As it turns out, there's only 8. So we have 4 and 4 right now.
Yeah.
So we still have room for 3 more guys in each class.
No, sir. We haven't. We
in a lot of ways, I'm fine with 4 because it's a new class and it's a tricky class.
Yeah.
And so
that's the neck through SG workshop.
Yeah. This is the way I think we should break it down. You should do the neck through part. I should do the SG part.
You do the Les Paul part.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you guys have any interest in doing that, it is possible that we have 4 more spots that we could potentially fill in the May SG classes. If you guys want to do one, maybe I'll put it up there. Maybe not. If you just like, hey, I really want to do one of those, send me an email or something.
You put 1 of each on there. Do 5. 5
Let's
6,
see.
Either way.
Doug says Dastardly Dave made him do it ad free. Thank you, Doug. Doug has got some cool stuff coming his way.
He does have a lot of cool stuff coming his way. He's got some stuff he doesn't even know he's got.
I don't even know how cool it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the neck through SG workshop, Chris. This is one of the neck through SG prototypes. I actually was working on it today, and it's very much not done. In fact, you can even see it's got like a little lip down here of stuff that will all have to be taken away. But this is kind of what we're going to be making. Kind of. I think that there will be maple necks, maple neck through sections, and mahogany wings, I think is what I expect. But maybe we should go all mahogany. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
Mahogany is always easier to work. I apologize.
Butch says, do we have a Maverick workshop spot? His allowance got cut. We don't have that, Butch. That's not a bad idea, though. Yeah. Hi, Shane. Good morning from Japan, sir. Good evening from the United States.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, so maple is cool, and what will probably happen is you'll get the neck section, and then Doc says something that we're definitely not doing, and since Doc isn't coming, it doesn't matter. Mahogany and walnut, which we're absolutely 100% definitely not going to do.
No, I think all mahogany is the way to go.
Well, that is the classic SG thing, but since these are neck through, I kind of want to show off that they are in fact neck through.
Yeah.
However, Mike said that he wants a white one. So I don't know. Maybe but this is also one of the guitars for the that I'm doing kind of in conjunction with the Patreon training that we're starting this year. Do you know about Patreon training, Chris?
I do know about Patreon training.
Okay.
But you should tell us more, Matt.
Well, I'm glad that you asked, because we've got the first video came out. The second video is up there, but I'm
wild acclaim.
I know. The second video is up, but I haven't scheduled it to drop until after when we normally do a video tomorrow, on the off chance we do a video tomorrow, and I'm not sure that we're gonna. The reason is because I don't want people to ask a bunch of questions about what we did in the first 2 videos, either today or tomorrow, because on Saturday morning, I am going to be doing a live Q&A with everybody who's signed up for Patreon. And we're going to talk about the neck blank that I have here. This is my kind of test one. And the neck blank that I have here. And this is kind of the one that I'm doing with you guys. So, so the workshop for, well, the first one that you guys saw, we made the blank. The next one, we're going to establish the angle, and I'm going to show you how that goes. And then I think though that the establishing the angle, Chris, I think is so important that that's when I want to do my first live Q&A. So the cool thing about Patreon training is you get to do it at your own pace. You get to, you might not do it, but you might be able to glean some stuff from it that you want to use in other things. And you can watch the videos as many times as you want, and you can, if like I say, if you're on the Patreon thing, you can participate in the live talk. And the best part is that regardless of how much you give to Patreon, even $1 a month this time, you get full access to all the training videos for the neck through SG workshop, Patreon training. This time, I think we're going to change it to where you have to pay a little more than $1 next time to get the whole thing. You know what I mean? But for this time, if you guys are signed up for any amount of money, you can do the Patreon training.
Cool.
Share how that makes you feel, knowing that we've been getting a lot of new Patreon members.
I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think the people that support us through Patreon deserve a little something extra.
I think you're 100% right. Joy thinks you're 100% right.
Well, then, and it's unanimous.
And I was
anonymous.
like, oh, it didn't even occur to me to do that. But yeah, so now.
I've seen people do that, and Dylan does that. By people, I mean Dylan. No, yeah. I've seen other people do it too. And yeah, people that we should support, the people that support us.
Did you know that
we should all be supporters?
We should be, yeah.
Even if I want to make an athletic.
I was wondering how you were going to work around
to be able to get there. Yeah.
Even if you don't like sports.
Even if you don't like sports. Yeah, we're athletic supporters.
I actually joined a couple of Patreon pages that are set up like this, not in the guitar building industry, in other industries, just to see what it was like. Okay. And because I'm kind of wanting to do this. So, yeah.
Did you join one that's like really popular and one that's not popular at all?
I don't. I'm actually
not on purpose.
Actually, I have been a Patreon supporter of a handful of channels for many years. Like before we had a Patreon page, and so the couple new ones that I joined were, some of them were, one was like $20 a month. Yeah. And one was not $20 a month. So anyway. So anyhow. So yeah, let's talk about the other workshops that are coming up though. If you guys want to come out to here, and Curtis says he's going to make us all tacos. No, he doesn't. I think he's having tacos for dinner tonight though. Steve says, hey, Matt and Chris, Baxter and I think Jonathan from Casino Guitars will be at Wood Gear and Volts when you're there. Not sure if you knew that or not. Hey, that's super cool because I would love to meet that guy. And I think we might have something that he really digs. Do you think he knows that we exist? Steve, do you know?
I don't know. I mean, we are wildly popular.
We are unbelievably.
I will bet that he is aware we exist. I bet that's it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I might have seen one of those.
Yeah, I heard of those guys
watched,
before.
An intro one time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw their toaster.
Dylan says that he knows Casino knows we exist. So
okay.
Now above and beyond that, we don't know what.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that would be cool. I think there are a lot of people, like I would like to. So as you guys know, and we're jumping ahead a little bit, but we can jump ahead. It's
Uh-huh.
our show. We can do whatever we want. We
Yeah,
are.
we can go to the Showcase Showdown right now.
We can do whatever we want. Yeah.
Here we go.
A new car.
$1.
If you are in the loop at all, you know that the 2025 NAMM show is just around the corner, and Texas Toast will not be there.
No.
And in fact, let's put a pin in that and let's come back to it. But what are we doing instead, Chris?
We are going to attend a show. It's kind of a rogue show.
Yeah.
It's kind of a secret show.
I've been calling it an outlaw show.
Yeah, outlaw show. Yeah, secret isn't really.
It's
so secret nobody knows about it.
Secret enough that it has its own web page.
Yeah. Called Wood Wire and Volts. Is that right?
Yeah, Wood Wire and Volts. Yep.
Okay. It's a bunch of I'm assuming like-minded small builders who are tired of getting swallowed up by the overwhelming size of NAMM.
No doubt about it.
And also cost.
Yeah.
NAMM is really, really expensive to attend. And as a small builder, you end up kind of getting pushed to the back of the line.
I want to say that the last time I looked at the California NAMM exhibitor packages, like the smallest thing was like $3,000.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I looked, so it might be less.
We'd do better if we just sold T-shirts in the parking lot
or beer. Yeah. There's
do both.
So a couple of things. Bob says he got his very first TT guitar used from Casino Guitar. I had no idea that was true. Wonder which one that was.
Yeah, tell us which guitar that was, Bob.
Steve says yes. Jonathan said he spent a little time with Dylan's guitar. Bob Potter. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Jay says he's got to try to figure out how to squeeze 2 classes in this year. What's the going rate for plasma? You know, Mike Learn said that he had made a trip to the sperm bank.
And I asked him deposit or withdrawal.
That's right, you did. It's very funny.
Yeah, I thought was hilarious. Mike, not so much.
Okay. Dale Gribble sent us a super chat, and he said, "No kidding. My new level 3 Challenger is a ridiculously amazing guitar. Simply gorgeous, handmade, but no tool marks. What? Perfect combo of yellow and purple. No one made me say it. So yeah. So that one. Okay. Now that one is Lauren got that guitar, and he was like, I want some pickups that are kind of like a rock kind of metal maybe sounding pickup. As it turns out, those were the ones with the slash pickups.
Okay.
And he was like, I maybe thinking about DiMarzio or something. And when we we kind of had it flip-flopped, and we said we think these are like just whatever pickups. So, you know, whatever you want to put in there. And he asked if we could load it with DiMarzio pickups. And I said, no, because it's got to go out like immediately. As it turns out, it had the slash pickups in it. And I think he really dug them. I mean, he said that he really likes it. So that was a great, and that thing was like ridiculously light. You know, the level 3.
All those guitars were good.
Absurd. Yeah, how light they were.
Yeah. But I think, and unfortunately, you know, looking at them on the wall or even looking at them in a reveal video, until you see one in person, it's hard to tell, you know, and it's not just that way with us, it's that way with everybody. Yeah. And yeah. So I'm glad you took the chance on it. I'm glad you like the guitar.
Okay, so there's a couple things happening here. Bob says it was the TV yellow with 2 Dylan P90s.
Oh, okay, one of those.
Okay. Keith says that he's got a gray Ghost Challenger that's flawless. Thank you, Keith. Dust Devils. He says that he wants to come out to the August semi-hollow class. Okay, let's talk about the August semi-hollow class. There are actually spots in the first one. That's August 4th through the 8th. But I don't know if the website reflects that. There has also been another one added. And that is going to be August 18th through the 22nd. So if you are interested in these, should we show off what people are, or you want to wait until we get it all the way
Let's
done?
wait until we get it all.
Okay.
done.
Guys, when you see what you're going to be able to, what you could make
Mhm.
in the August semi-hollow body workshop, like Dave's coming out for that one. Jay and Gary are coming out. Paul Hall's coming to that one.
Mhm.
The Becklovs are coming
It's a
out to one.
worldwide class.
It is so cool. The guitar looks really, really neat.
It
and I
does,
think
yeah.
you're gonna do something. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Pass out.
Uh-huh. Okay. So we do have, okay, now I believe that the website is mostly up to date. How about this? Joy actually said, you sold another class this morning. Make sure you have a spot for them. And as it turns out, not only did we have a spot, but now the website reflects the right number of classes in inventory for that month.
Okay.
And that one is the February one, which is our Build a Classic Fender.
Okay.
I love Build a Classic Fender.
What's involved in that class, man?
Well, Build a Classic Fender is cool because we really do all the body.
Yeah.
And this time we're doing a little more paint on the body.
Yeah.
We're going to, and you get it. So you walk in on Monday and you walk out on Friday with a guitar that's ready to go, strung up, paint, everything.
Yep.
The whole shooting match.
Yep.
And so like you could make, I think like someone's making a Jazz Master and someone's making a
Telecaster. Yep.
One guy wants to make like something like the EVH Wolfgang. And I'm like, man, we could get close.
Sure.
But I don't know how close. You know, because mostly because I think that those are carved top bodies and they're not a classic Fender.
Yeah.
They're a current subsidiary of Fender. We're not offering the current subsidiary of Fender workshop right now, but yeah.
Build anything Fender's ever made class.
Yeah, that's right. Bob says that TV Yellow was his introduction to TTG, and now he's an addict. Bob, I hate to tell you, but when you see the blue one,
we've gotten better.
You might, yeah.
I worked on it today.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yep.
Paul, we can set you up with a suitable, robust case that will be good for flying back to the UK with. That's no problem. Doc says that he loves the Fender Classic, Build a Classic Fender workshop so much he's done it twice. I think that's cool because Doc came out once and hung out with us, and then he came out with
John.
With John, his cousin or nephew or something. Yeah, I don't
his
remember.
Brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, February 3rd through the 7th, we have the Classic Fender workshop.
Yep.
There's still a spot.
There's one spot
or
left.
Something left in
I
that.
think.
Yep. March, we have our Ultimate PRS workshop.
Okay.
Now, the Ultimate PRS workshop is a brand new thing that we started last year, and it was wildly popular. I think
we did it twice.
We did it like back to back.
Turned out really good both times.
Yeah.
And
I think that not a lot of people know about it because there's not a lot of people signed up for it yet. However, if you are like, hey, I want to do this, but I kind of want to share, like, maybe get an Airbnb with some of the guys in the class, or if I want to like share a ride or something, like rental car or something. Paul Gosling is doing that workshop, and he's like, hey, I'm available if somebody wants to do Airbnb or something like that. So if you guys want to do the PRS in March, let me know if you want to do Airbnb or kind of, help split or if you're already signed up and I just forgot what your name is and you want to do that with. So
you're open to that.
Imagine this, the hot setup, Chris, would be like, if there was, I don't know if there's an Airbnb close enough that could accommodate half a dozen guys, maybe. It's for a week. It's not like, you have to spend a semester with 6 dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if the really cool thing would be like, if we could find an Airbnb and then like you guys rent a Suburban or something and you do everything, you go get food, you go get tattoos that say, Texas Toast on them or whatever. That would be really cool. So let's see if we can make that happen a little bit in 2025. Shall we?
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And there's There's a bunch of nice Airbnbs around here.
There are, yeah.
Surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly a lot, not surprisingly that they're nice.
Dust Devil says, can we have a quick look at the new semi-hollow? If it was up to me, I would say yes. Chris says no. So you have to wait.
Yeah.
You have to wait till like maybe next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really enjoy showing off not finished guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though there's some hanging up, but yeah.
Okay. Dan says that he forgot to get his tattoo when he was out here.
Well, next time you can get 2.
If you want to come out and get a tattoo, that's fine. Or if you want for nothing, we can just brand you.
Yeah,
we have that.
We do have
yeah.
several. Yeah.
Not doing that.
You might even get a couple till we get it right.
You might even get an infection. We're not doing that. Okay.
No, we have Bactine too. We'll brand you, then Bactine it. Yeah. And
Okay.
rubbing alcohol.
April is a new workshop that we're doing. It's the Ultimate Super Strat workshop. Now we've got some people who are signed up for that one. Now, basically, that is, well, it's a Super Strat. Now it's a straight up Strat with, okay, I think that a Super Strat is basically a Strat with a Floyd and a humbucker.
Okay.
You can tack on a bunch of other stuff too, but that's the minimum.
Yeah.
You know, so these are going to be your straight up Stratocaster body. We're not going to do dinkies or anything like that. These are the almost exactly the same Strats that we did for the Ultimate Strat workshop, which we're getting to. But I think that I think I overestimated people's interest level in the Super Strat workshop.
Okay.
So I think what we should/could do is, if you want to do a regular Strat in that class, you can. The trick to this is everything is included in that workshop.
Yeah.
So it's one thing for me to go, hey, why don't, if I can't do, hey, I want to do a telly and I want to do a P. For me, tracking down all the hardware for that would be really, really tricky. For the Super Strat thing, it's like, okay, I got to get, everybody has to get a Floyd. Well, if I just say everybody gets a slightly different bridge and slightly different pickup, that's not that big of a deal to change up. But if we just went, you can do anything. So really, it's going to be a Super Strat workshop, but you can choose what level of super you want your Strat.
Just how super do you want it to be?
Yeah. You want a Floyd and a locking nut and 2 humbuckers or 1 humbucker, and you want great. If somebody wanted like EVH stripes, could they do that?
Yeah, maybe.
Really? Okay.
Well, could they do it well?
Meh.
No. There might not be time for that kind of thing.
I don't know.
There's some paint drying time. Now, if you wanted one of the stripes to be wood.
You know what I think would be really cool on a Super Strat workshop would be, we could do like flame maple tops. I think that would be neat. I bet you we could do that. And then rear route them, Okay. Okie dokie. Jay wants to know if you get a price break if you get a TTG tattoo. On the tattoo, I think we could get you a price break on the tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you won't even have to pay us a licensing fee to have it. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Yeah. But I think there's a tattoo parlor.
Supply the artwork.
That's right. There's a tattoo parlor right down the street that I think we could get you 5% off. So yes, Jay, we could absolutely get you a deal on the Texas Toast tattoo.
I'd like to see somebody get just the Texas Toast logo, not guitars.
Yeah.
Just Texas Toast.
Butch wants to show
right there.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Your shirt is rad.
Thanks.
Butch wants to know, can you show us the brown striped guitar behind Chris? That's your cue, dude.
Yo, you want me to get it?
Uh-huh.
Look how strong I am.
Terry says, I received the pink Paisley PRS style guitar. Love it. Matt, do you remember what the pickups are in that one? I don't. Do you remember, Chris?
Those are Pure Juice pickups.
Pure Juice. Gotcha. Okay. So what exactly are you holding here?
This is the Les Ply
Mm-hmm.
Les Paul. This is a Les Paul made out of plywood.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not made out of plywood the way you would normally glue
No.
up plywood.
No, it's not.
It's not pancaked. It's flipped, and what you're seeing is the
all the plies.
orientation.
Yeah.
The other way. You're seeing all the plies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks kind of like those skateboard guitars. Only it's not skateboards. It's plywood.
This is the finest CDX plywood that they had at Home Depot
Yep.
when I
And
went.
the neck's made out of it too.
Look, the neck's even plywood as well.
And there's Bondo and all sorts of other.
There
fillers
is so
in it.
much
Not a
glue
lot,
and
but-
epoxy,
but
and
there's all sorts of stuff, and
Yeah.
it's fun, and it's a big conversation piece. And people will say, "Well, you should sell it," or "How much do you want for it?"
yeah.
Well, we don't want anything. For
I-
it because
I
we
don't-
want to sell.
I don't
it.
want to sell it.
It's a conversation piece.
Mhm.
And this was hanging on the wall and hanging on the wall. And the first time we met Dylan in person,
Yeah, that's right.
he came and he's like, "Well, I want to work on something. I don't know." So we had this and we had some other stuff hanging on the wall. And we were like all slated to get him, to work on those other ones. And he's like, "Well, what about this?"
Mhm.
So he and I finished this up pretty quickly one day,
Yep.
as far as paint and stuff like that, logos. And then he proceeded to order parts and assemble it during his week here.
Yeah.
That was that first build a body for $100 week.
Oh, that was a terrible. Yeah.
And this was the result. So, and there was talk of doing something with it.
Eh,
And we said, well, other
eh,
people talked, not
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And we said, no, we're keeping it.
Dylan says that he can put EVH stripes on the pickups for the Super Strat class. Now,
Well, there you
that
go.
would be cool.
That's enough. You don't need anything else.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
Dan wants to know, how heavy is it? That's over
that's
7 pounds.
That's a fun game to play. Everybody thinks it's way heavier than it
Yeah.
is. I think it's right around 11 and a half. I think it's actually less than that,
Yeah.
which isn't light, but it's not 13 pounds like everybody says. Everybody goes, oh, 13 pounds,
20?
14 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's 11 and some change.
Yeah.
But if you put a percentage on that versus an 8-pound guitar, then it's it's like 38% more or something like that. I'm no mathematician, so don't check my numbers.
But you get the idea.
You
Yeah.
get the idea. Yeah.
Okay, so back to the class schedule. May is, as we already talked about, two, one immediately following the other of the Ultimate SG Workshop, which is going to look a little like this in that it is going to be neck through. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the woods are going to be. I only know that they're not going to be walnut and mahogany.
Yeah.
They might be mahogany. Walnut is probably not something that, walnut's not an inexpensive wood.
Right.
Um,
And I think there's walnut and then there's walnut, as there is with a lot of woods. But
Yeah.
You go to the store and sometimes, oh man, look at all this neat looking walnut. And other times you're like, ugh.
yeah.
Yeah, what's all this gray wood over here? Well, that's walnut.
Curtis says, is it still possible to get pinstripe challengers, or was that a one-time thing? Curtis, that's something that I will have to tell you about in a little while. My lips are sealed on that one for probably another
So
2 weeks. I can probably
So-
tell you Thursday the 23rd.
how many? Well, I guess over time we've had a bunch of
Yeah.
pinstripe challengers, but I mean we had that gold one. I'm trying to think, were there any more that we did that time? It was mostly icons that got pinstripes.
Oh, no,
That
there
last
was a
time.
PRS thing. We've
Well, yeah,
done
there was PRSs,
we've
but
done
I
a
mean,
mountain of
but not
of-
challengers.
Yeah, remember we had those 2 white ones that we did?
Yeah,
We
but
had
over time.
Yeah, oh,
but-
yeah.
It's not a standard thing that we do. So.
Yeah. Dill,
One of the problems is getting the pinstriper to actually show up.
sometimes it's not easy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Driddle made a little frowny face and he said $100 body class was terrible.
Yeah, because it made it.
And then he
it
said
did
that
into
was
it.
my first visit to the shop. Belt
Mhm.
Sender race was the day after. I'll never forget. Okay, Devin, what you need to understand is that it wasn't a terrible workshop. It was a long week that netted not very much money for Chris and I. And
No, I think
yeah.
his thing is it was terrible because he's had to come back how many times now
Oh,
and have fun.
okay. I thought that he meant it was because I said it was terrible, and he felt bad that I said it was terrible.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was a fun week. I remember there was one day near the end, maybe it was the last day. I think one or two guys were signed up.
Yeah,
and they made tele bodies, and it was like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah. Paul Hall sent us a super chat, says, got to go to Big Bed with hot blankies and big beds and new clean sheets. He says, enjoy your evening, folks. Thank you so much.
You say Big Bed with all that other stuff?
No, but that's
you just
what
made it up.
I like those things. I imagine everybody else does too. Yeah.
I like.
Outlaw Vic says, tips for beginning guitar tech. Well, Vic, gosh, tips for being okay. Let's touch on this real quick, and then let's get back to our list of what we're going. I'm going to do a video this Sunday, which is here's what you don't even know. I didn't talk to you about this.
Okay.
I want you to go around the shop, and I want you to pick 5 or 10 tools from Stuart McDonald.
Okay.
And I want you to put them on this table, and I'm going to go through them and say which one is my favorite. I have to pick one.
Okay.
And so, man, being a guitar tech, the very first thing
I'm not going to just pick stuff from Stu Mac because I already have some ideas.
Well, you've got
but one of them might as well be from. Actually,
you got to get all this stuff from Stu Mac because. And there's a reason for this, and that is that Stu, and I can't tell you, but there's something coming up from Stu Mac that you guys need to know about, and I want to tell you, but I don't want to tell you until I can tell you.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we can make it work out either way.
All right. Anyway, so what I would say is you're gonna need some tools. Okay. You're gonna need some tools, and you're gonna have to just pony up and buy some tools and buy some books and buy some get some training, maybe, unless you already have some, and then go through and take all your guitars apart and put them all back together, or set them up, or pull the nuts out and cut new nuts for them, or do some of that stuff. A guitar tech, though, I mean, I don't know how much how much work does a guitar tech actually do? I guess it depends on who you're teching.
Yeah, we were talking about doing a class on not a class, but some videos or a video on setting up a new guitar or things to do to a new guitar. Hey, I just got this guitar. It seems to play pretty well, but it might could use some work to play better. What to look for, how to do it, stuff like that. Yeah,
so I guess that would be all like guitar tech stuff. And if that's the case, you wouldn't want to like put a new nut in that guitar unless it.
No.
But you might want to file the nut slots.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things, I think, when you get a new guitar, you sort of assume that some of this stuff has been done, and it hasn't always been done.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a lot of work, but it can make a big difference in how the guitar plays.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do those videos.
I think we should. Okay.
We'll just use my crappy guitars.
Well, yeah. So, how about this? Experiment and learn on your own stuff, not somebody else's.
Yeah, to start with. Yeah.
Okay. And I have made that mistake.
And the world is chock full of cheap guitars from all over the place. And
So you're going to need some tools. So buy some. You're going to need some training. Get some from somewhere. And you're going to make mistakes. So practice on your own stuff first.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good tips, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Learn to measure.
Yeah. Learn to measure.
Learn what those numbers mean.
Acknowledge that you can't see. I can't see. Okay.
Good lighting.
Yeah.
And glasses. That's the overwhelming.
Dylan says, go buy a bunch of Harley Bentons and fix them. Okay, there's some things you're not gonna be able to turn a sow's ear into a silk purse, right? Outlaw Vic says, thanks for getting back to me on this. I have torn my Fender acoustic down so many times to test various different theories I have. Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome, man. I think if you one of the most famous guitar techs in the world, of course, was Eddie Van Halen. I mean, really, it was certainly one of the most experienced, or one of the most experimental.
Hands-on,
Yeah. And if you ever watched any of the stuff he made much, much later on, he was like, I didn't know what I was doing. So I just kind of started doing stuff. That's why his guitars looked the way that they did, you know, with his like pick guards and stuff that came off and stuff kind of stuck back on and switches in there and crap. And now it just so happened that he was one of the most influential guitar players ever to have existed.
Yeah.
But when he wrote all those songs, his guitars were, if you didn't know who Eddie Van Halen was and you saw that guitar, you'd be like, ugh, what is that?
Yeah.
You know? If you knew Eddie Van Halen only as a guitar tech and not as a guitar player, you would not exactly be impressed, I don't think.
Yeah. Took my guitar to that Ed guy, fucked it up.
Now, the evidence. So, okay, what evidence do I have of that, Chris? Much later on in life, Eddie Van Halen's guitars, his EVH brand, they didn't look like they were beat up, old, torn apart things.
Right.
They were actually fairly well thought out, well executed instruments that looked factory new because they were. He spec'd all this stuff based on his what he had learned through the last several decades of experimentation. But like I say, if you looked at when Mr. Van Halen was still alive, those EVH Wolfgang guitars came out, and he didn't say, "Oh yeah, just drill a bunch of holes in it and then attach stuff with chains to it so that it, you know,
everyone's got a quarter on
it."
Yeah,
he wanted them to look good and play good. So yeah, okay. Anyhow, okay. So May, we talked about that. We've got the SG workshop, and there may or may not be more spots in one of those. June, we've got our Ultimate Telly workshop. There's a couple of people signed up for that one already. That's
a fun class. Yeah.
What is it about that makes it so much fun?
It's pretty laid back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a telly, and tellies are a good place to start. It's easy and fun to make a really cool telly without killing yourself.
No doubt.
If you're not a fan of sanding, detailed sanding, telly's a good guitar to do because there's two flat sides.
Gosh, we've done that
and
class
not much round over.
Boatload of times. And
the guitars always turn out great. But it's also a good primer. You know, you still get to do frets, all that stuff. That's exactly the same.
Don't forget all Callahan hardware.
Yeah, really good hardware.
So we spec all the stuff is tier 1 equipment.
Yeah.
It's all the bodies and neck blanks are made by our friend Steve at Maximum Guitar Works.
Yeah.
You get to do all the fret work. You actually press in the frets.
Yeah, you press in the frets. You do all the fret dressing. You do all the fret leveling. Yep. There's a lot of setup in that class.
You do the nut things.
Yeah. You get to in a lot of ways it's as much setup as it is anything else, and you end up it's we're way ahead the whole time on that class. So you're never like stressed out, freaking out. Am I going to get done? Yeah, you're going to get done.
And on Friday, you walk out with a guitar that's ready to play.
Yeah,
ready to go.
Really cool.
Heirloom.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's coming up in June. A couple of people signed up for that one already. July, we've got as of right now, July is set for Strat workshop, which, since we're combining April with Super Strat with regular Strat, I'm not sure if July is going to stay Strat or not.
Yeah.
And then August, we begin what I think is going to be the most popular class we've ever done here. And that is our semi-hollow body workshop. And what that basically is you get to build something that is not unlike our Icon guitar.
Yeah, we don't want to call it build an Icon
because it's not. Yeah,
because it's not, but it's more or less. Yeah.
And the neatest thing about that one is
you either get to or you don't have, but you don't have to.
Yeah, that's right.
Design and cut out your own cutaway.
Yeah. So if you want an Icon, if you're like, oh, that Icon's cool, but I think it should have a cutaway.
I think it should have a cutaway. And I would do a Florentine cutaway, or I would do a rounded cutaway, or I would just lop it off and leave it. Yeah, you get to do that.
You get to do exactly whatever you want.
How do you get to do that? We're not going to tell you.
Yeah, you have to
until
come
you're here. You have
to
come to class. You have to pay for it. to learn how we have decided that you can actually
and
do
it's
that.
double bound. The neck is bound. You get to it's going to be really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that class is high reward. I don't want to say minimal effort, but not a ton of effort. It's the right amount of effort for way more at the end.
Yep.
Fairly easy to sand, just the right amount of woodwork, super cool looking guitar. It's going to be, it's cool. And it's a fairly unique guitar.
Oh, absolutely.
That, you don't see every day.
And you don't have to do any cutaway. You can just double roundy.
Mm-hmm. Which is the easiest to sand.
Yeah.
So if you're not a fan of sanding and you never play past the 12th fret, don't do it.
Dan says, got to thank Chris for the day on setup at the PRS class. Use that to set up my new acoustic. My music teacher was impressed with my setup. That's awesome, Dan.
Oh, there you
Very
go.
good.
Cool. Good.
Dale Gribble, who I actually know his real name. His real name isn't Dale Gribble. Of course, it's Rusty Shackelford. Says, do you get to Feshi Laveshi?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm going to say no. You're going to say yes. I don't know what that means.
I think I'm going to say yes until I say no.
Yep. Okay. And Curtis wants to know whatever happened to the, what does it say here? Wants to know what happened to the here it is. Whatever happened to the 2x4 prostitute? Well, Curtis, it's right behind me right here.
This is another guitar that we will not sell.
Nope.
Until it's time to sell it, but I don't think we will sell it. This is another conversation piece. We actually had a conversation about this one today.
We did have a conversation
with somebody here in the shop, maybe even celebrity. But yeah, it's too cool to have disappear into the other world that is the guitar market and then used guitar market.
Yeah.
So
this is a guitar that I built out of 2x4s that used to be a bench here in the shop, and it's holding up quite well. I actually tuned it up the other day and was playing it, and it's fun, and it's made out of 2x4s. Even the neck. So yeah.
And then we we took it and had it plecked.
I forgot that Steve plecked this.
Fun video and. Yeah, and it's a cool guitar, and it's a good conversation piece, and it's also a good reminder to never build a guitar out of 2x4.
That's right.
Anytime somebody says, "Well, I think you should build a guitar out of 2x4s," we can pull that one out and say, maybe not, because I think the over/under is $30. For $30 more,
you could have something that's real,
good wood, and have something that's not made of 2x4s. Yeah.
The novelty that it's made out of a 2x4 wears off pretty quickly, and then you go, now I get
it really does. And I think there's always a question in the back of your mind, well, it's held up so far, or it's good now. I think there's always that little hesitation, and if you just spend $30 more, and if you're building guitars, $30 is not a lot of money.
Great scheme of things.
Hopefully that's not all you've spent. And I have a Dremel and an old workbench made out of 2x4s. I'm going to start building guitars. Terrible idea.
The Dirty Knob says pine bodies are cool.
Yeah,
they are cool.
Yeah.
When they're not made out of old Douglas fir 2x4s from Home Depot that have been sitting around for the last 5 years in the shop.
Yeah. Well, and I think I think gluing a bunch of 2x4s together and making a body is one thing. I think making a neck out of it's another. The
2x4 though,
and really pine and 2x4s and Douglas fir and all that. It's more an aesthetic choice for a body than a.
Well, let's say that this is pine, even though it's not pine.
It's not. Yeah.
It's a kind of pine tree, I guess, but. There's a big difference between a pine 2x4 that you buy at the home center and 8-quarter pine lumber that you buy at the hardwood store that is made for furniture making and dried properly. And so can we at least agree on that?
Yeah, and I mean, just the time that it took to glue all that wood together could be better spent doing other stuff, unless you have all the time in the world and it's worth nothing to you.
That's right. Okay, so guys, sign up for workshops. Let me know when you want to come, what you want to do, and we'll get you signed up for the workshops. But later this month, on the 23rd and 24th, we are going to be in Anaheim, California. We are going to be attending and exhibiting at the Wood, Wire, and Bolts trade show. Chris, myself, Jimmy, and Dylan, we're all going to be there. It's a I've been calling it Outlaw Show. It's the same week as the NAMM show.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the guys from Casino Guitars might show up. There's a lot of stuff happening right around there, and it's all cool boutique things.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up our alley, frankly.
Yeah, we're gonna fit right in, like peas and carrots.
I think we're gonna do better than fit in. Chris, I'm looking right now at what we're bringing, and I haven't even seen anybody else's stuff.
Yeah,
I will put our stuff up against anybody's guitars all day, every day.
Yeah,
and you guys are going to be blown away when you see how neat this stuff is. So,
yeah.
But go ahead. But it's a small show, so if you're going to be at the NAMM show, there's plenty. And it's like what, 3 miles away?
Less than 4 miles away.
Okay, so you could go to this one, you could go to the NAMM show, and then you could go, man, I'm exhausted and I'm tired of looking at clarinets and bassoons and kettle drums. I want to go to the Wood, Wire, and Volt show and hang out with Matt, Chris, and Jimmy, and Dylan, and I want to see if I can meet the guys from Casino Guitars. I don't know if they're going. It'd be cool if they did.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would. You know what? I think that we should, if the guys from Casino Guitars come out, we should absolutely 100% see if we can get them to drink beer with us. If you guys know those guys, tell them that the first round is on your old Uncle Matt.
Yeah.
Maybe even the second. I don't know if they might. Here's the thing. I don't drink. You know what I had I had cocoa. I'm not exactly the biggest beer drinker anymore, but Jim's going to be there, and by golly, that's
Jim and Chris will
I think you guys will pick up any slack.
Get it going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so anyway, we're gonna be there, but Chris, if we decide to go to the NAMM show for whatever, we could go.
Mm-hmm.
We could get in.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you want to even see if we went to the NAMM
That's
show?
the thing is,
and I don't mean Michelangelo Batty on it.
Because I've been in, Rudy Sarzo.
Yeah.
I've been in this situation where I feel like if I don't go, I'm missing out on something. But then I do go and I realize I'm not missing out on anything. It's the same as it's always been. It's the same as it always will be. And especially in this day and age, I'll probably see everything that I want to see before the show.
The one person that I think we might not be able to see is, and I don't know if he's going, is Brian Nutter. I don't know if he's going or not.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But if he's going, I would imagine he'll be
nice
like
to see him.
He'd probably be like, "Hey, let's get together and go get a drink or something."
But ultimately, I think I will have way more fun at the show we're going to than wandering around NAMM looking at stuff, going because really, I don't lust after anybody else's stuff. I don't pine after, and so I'd be going and looking at colors and finishes and mostly just being kind of a jerk.
What
going?
Oh,
that
to
looks like shit.
Eyeball
That's
somebody
terrible.
else's guitars.
Yeah. I would walk around and look at neck joints on everybody's guitars.
Yeah.
You go, it's rotten. So.
Dylan says, I spoke to Brian. He's going to, Brian Nutter. Oh, cool. Okay. That's awesome, man. Hey, so what are your predictions for the Wood, Wire, and Volts show? By the way, knowing this, that it is my understanding that was an invitation only show. And Dylan got us hooked up with an invitation. I didn't even know it was a thing. And then he told me about it. I'm like, how do I get in? And Carlos Lopez got us hooked up. So.
Yeah.
Thanks to Dylan.
What is my prediction?
What is your prediction? And then I'm going to tell you mine.
Tons of fun, lots of great contacts. Lots of like-minded people.
Mhm.
That's as much as I'm hoping for or expecting. I'm hoping for some other things.
Here's a prediction of mine, Chris.
Okay.
That in 2026, it's
Uh-huh.
going to be way bigger.
Okay. For the
And
show itself.
yeah, and everybody in that boutique builder showcase is going to want to get in on that wood wire involved show.
Mhm.
Doug Cower is going to want to do it. OD is going to want to do it. There's going to be people who are like, I had no idea this was a thing.
Mhm.
I got to do that next year.
Yeah.
This is where I want to be. And we're going to be there on the ground floor.
We are. Yeah. You
We're
guys
getting
can
in
set
on
up
the ground
behind TTG over there.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And yeah, so I'm just glad to be going this year.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you to Dylan for getting it set up. Thank you for Curtis Novak for putting it on with Carlos Lopez from Castadosa Guitars. And I'm excited to see everybody there and hang out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah. Open to the public, right?
Yeah, open to the public. It's not free to get in,
No.
but tickets are not a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
There's some cool stuff going on afterwards, maybe. Yeah, it's we a lot of times we talk about the brotherhood that is Texas Toast Guitars. I think that brotherhood is going to expand towards other people, other companies, other like-minded folk.
Yeah,
that will be pretty cool. It's we know people, Dylan, and you. It's like I remember going. Have you seen the guy that made that put the Telecaster neck on the fence post and then played it? That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this leads to that. And the next thing you know, he's here for a week. He's hanging out with us.
And now we talk to him every day.
Yeah, leading up to the show, we just have the daily call. Yeah, today you call him. He's like, daily call. Yeah. But, there's, like-minded and, you just get along with them. And everybody wants to help everybody out. It's not a zero-sum game. Yeah. If we do well, Dylan does well. If Dylan does well, we do well, on down the line. And so, would I like people to only buy Texas Toast guitars? Yeah.
I'm
do
pretty
I know
sure
that's not a reality? Yeah.
Dude.
Would I like of the guitars they buy, one of them would be a Texas Toast guitar? You
guys, when you see this stuff, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the stuff that we're bringing and the ideas that we're bringing around are really cool, and I think everybody's gonna really like it.
So if you are in the Anaheim area on the 22nd and 23rd of January, and you want to come out and hang out with us, you want to meet Jimmy, you want to go and shotgun beers with him out in the parking lot. I don't know, 23rd and 24th. Yeah. You think there's going to be shotgunning beers in the parking lot?
No, there's going to be shotgunning beers in the show. Why do we need to do it? Look, man, this venue, this whole area. So they call that area the Colony area of Anaheim.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, and the place that we're doing this is called the Colony House, and it's a venue. It's a what would you call that?
It's like a wedding reception.
Well, yeah,
it's not a hotel, right?
No, I don't think so. No, but it's this whole little separate section of it's pretty high class.
It is.
So we're going to try and bring a little lowbrow to high class,
something that seems to follow us everywhere we go.
It does because that's what we do. But the party will be in front of the Texas Toast table.
You know why? Because there ain't no party like a TTG party.
And people will just get sucked in. Yeah. And at the end, somebody will go, when I was like, I don't even know what that. You guys make really good guitars.
We do. We do.
Be like, it worked out perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant that's what you would be doing.
No, I know how good our stuff is.
No, I didn't know if you'd be the drunk guy
else?
who was slurring his speech on the. I didn't. Okay, I don't know what you do. Yeah.
No, we're just gonna sit there and because we've done it before. Hey, how's it going? Good. Want a beer?
Yeah.
Sure. Come on over.
Stranger things have happened.
Talk about guitars, but this time, guitars are. Yeah, this is our crowd.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, gang.
Roll crowd.
We have got to call it a day. Our show is over, but Dylan and his lovely wife Leslie are just beginning, and they're going to be hanging out with you for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. encore, out the door, psychotic reaction, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to all be happening. And so check them out right now. Go over there, go get you a snack, go over to Dylan's page and hang out. We will see you
not tomorrow,
Sunday for the next video. We've got nothing to reveal tomorrow. We're kind of in class mode.
We're we have a lot of stuff that is almost ready for review.
Yeah. Yep.
But nothing that's 100% yet.
All right, guys, have a good week. We'll see you Sunday.